Hello, a few weeks ago I did a video on how to handle Stripe refunds in Stripe, and I also have a course on how to deal with Stripe checkout and Stripe subscription checkout and a few more things in Stripe. Now in this video, a relatively short one, I will show you how to retrieve all the charges in your particular account for a specific period. Okay, all the charges for a specific period. Basically how to filter that, and it's quite simple. You just have to know how to apply the date filter. So let's see now. This is the postman. And there's really not too much in it. We just have we just send it. We receive a response, and this is the charge, and that's all that there is to it. So now let's take a look at the code. The code in this case is just a simple action method in a controller, charges controller, and then we have task called get by date interval, and that's it, right? And we have a route. That's the whole example basically. Now you can find all of my examples in the Patreon, or the source code you can get from there. But this example, we have date from and date to. Now, sometimes I do show that different method of getting a date, and that is by sending ticks instead of a sort of formatted date time. That way you are sure that the format will be correct. So you get the integer basically, and then you convert it to date time. That would be a more appropriate approach, but I did not want to bloat this project. So after that, we have Stripe configuration, API key. You do obviously have to reference Stripe and install it via NuGet. We have that, and then just like anything else in Stripe, we have service right here. We have service, and we have options for that particular service, and then we may have more options, right? So we have service right here. The service does what we need it to do. It gets, it retrieves, it gets a list in this case, right? And then it takes options to basically sort things out, right? Sort things out. We have service and option, a regular structure in Stripe, which I do really like. Now, the options are declared, and in this case, we need charge list options. Charge list options, which will have a couple of parameters right here, created and limit. So first of all, the created and the difficult part of this whole arrangement. We have, as you can see, any of, date, time. Okay, quite a complex piece of code. But basically we have this type, we create new type, and it takes an argument, which then is date range options. Okay, date range options. This is what we need. And then we just do greater than or less than, okay, or less than or equal. There are a few options. We have greater than or equal, then less than or equal. 4 basic options. That's all you really need to sort your dates, and that's it. You compare them and you have your options. But remember, first of all, it takes created, parameter created, member created, whichever word you like. It takes this whole thing, this little type, any of, right? It takes any of, which in turn takes date range options, which then has greater than, less than, greater than or equal, and then less than or equal. 4 different options, and that's it. You assign that, and you have your range of dates. And that's the difficult part of it. Again, you can get the code on Patreon, and you can also take a look at my Stripe course as well. You'll find some great stuff there, how to integrate a checkout system for both sort of normal payments and subscriptions, and a few more things with that. Also take a look at my API development course. It will be very useful. And for the front end, you can take a look at my Blazor course, which will be very, very useful again. Now, as for the limit, it simply limits the amount of these charges that will be retrieved. That's all it does, nothing more than that. The return type has to be Stripe list. It's not a simple list, but it's a stripe list, right? A stripe list of charges, or of a charge, right? A list of charge, basically models, right? A list of charges. And that's what we have. We prepare that, then we create, establish, construct the service, charge service in this case, right? And then we do service list, method list we use to retrieve all the charges given the appropriate parameters, right? So specific date range and specific limit. So you can really filter on. Other than that, it's probably better to handle this stuff on your own databases through your own IDs and things like that, associated maybe with your user IDs. But this thing may be good for, say, statistical purposes and things like that. So in the list, we provide the options and we get the charges. And then in the API, we simply return the charges. So do check out my courses, my Stripe course, Blazor course, my API course, and some other courses as well you might find interesting. Also subscribe to this channel and support this channel on Patreon.